Hey guys, let's talk about the financial advice you might still be hearing today that is completely incorrect. Now, I don't know about you, but I like to have my ears open to hear different types of financial advice, whether it's how to grow your money, how to invest your money better, or how to keep more of your money. Topics like that. And it's come to my realization that there is still common financial advice being spread around that I believe is just plain wrong. Let's talk about it. Number one, saving your money instead of investing your money. On the surface, this advice might seem like it makes a lot of sense. Saving your money must be better than spending it all, right? Well, yes, it is. Especially if the money you are saving is used to build a 3 to 6 month emergency fund. But once you have that emergency fund fully built out, there's no good reason to keep saving your money in a savings account. Why? Well, it's because by continuing to save your money after having an emergency account, you are essentially losing purchasing power of your money to inflation each year. Here's an easy way to look at it. If you saved $1,000 10 years ago and put it into a savings account, with the average savings interest of about a tenth of a percent, you would have grown that to $1,010. Yep, that's right. In a decade, your $1,000 would have made you $10. And I'm sure we can all agree that $10 is a pretty horrible return for a 10-year period. Also, due to inflation, that $1,000 in 2012 would have the buying power of $1,283 in 2022. An easy way to think of this is that in 2012, $1,000 had much more buying power than $1,000 has today. So, by keeping that $1,000 in a savings account starting in 2012, you actually lost $273 in buying power over a 10-year period. So, what's the alternative? Well, simple. Invest your money into an index fund. If you invested that $1,000 into an index fund like VTI 10 years ago, it would have grown 266% or $2,660, meaning that your total amount today would be $3,660 instead of $1,010. There comes a certain point where you have to transition your thinking from savings to investing your money. And if you would like to learn more about investing into index funds, check out my video in the corner above. Number two, work hard and you will become wealthy. We often hear that we must work hard, and if we keep our head down and work hard enough and long enough, then we will reap the benefits of our efforts and become successful. Well, let me tell you that you can be the hardest worker out there and still end up dying broke if you do not understand how money works or if you do not seek the right opportunities. For example, you can be the hardest working person at Burger King and make some amazing Whoppers and chicken sandwiches. But financially speaking, that's not really going to amount to much. Now, I have nothing against Burger King. In fact, I actually worked there for about 18 months in the 90s. I mopped floors, I made some great Whopper Juniors, and worked the broiler. I did it so well that I was promoted to team leader, and I was proud of that. But at a certain point, I had to start seeking other opportunities. You need to develop a vision, identify potential opportunities, create a plan along with goals, and start progressing towards those goals. After that, you can start working hard and begin to achieve meaningful progress. Until then, just working hard alone will not get you very far. Number three, college graduates make more money. Now, statistically, college graduates do make more money than their non-degree counterparts. But the truth is that not all college graduates make more. If you pick the wrong degree, you are less likely to earn more money. In fact, depending on the school and program you select, you could easily spend the next decade or two drowning in student debt. CNBC recently released an article that shows the least valuable degrees, including a degree in visual and performing arts, fine arts, and drama and theater. If you have a hunger for learning a particular field, like visual arts, history, sociology, then it could be more advantageous to get a library card and read as many books as possible on the topic, or watch some YouTube videos. You will learn a wealth of information And more importantly, you will do it all for $0. Also, instead of a full-blown degree, a certification in a specific field like human resources or IT can provide access to many employment opportunities. I sometimes view colleges and universities as a business and the student as customers. If you pay the business enough and you do it for long enough, then eventually most colleges will guide you towards the path to get a degree. So is everyone who's awarded a degree suddenly at the same level of proficiency or has the same work ethic? No. In the current employment market, I strongly believe that experience outweighs education 9 times out of 10. It's one thing to say you have learned a theory in a classroom, but it is quite another to demonstrate the application of that theory within an organization while achieving positive results. Number 4, mutual funds versus index funds. The average managed mutual fund has an expense ratio of about 1.37%. A way to think about this is for every $10,000 of investment, people invested in mutual funds are paying $137 in fees each year. Now, index funds in an ETF, which stands for Exchange Traded Fund, that matches the S&P 500 can bring you in similar returns or even better with an annual expense ratio of 0.03 and an average dividend yield of 1.19%. When you do a side-by-side comparison, it's not even close. The more money you have invested in mutual funds, the more money you end up losing by paying those high fees. Clearly, our money will grow better in an index ETF like VTI and VOO. If you want to learn more about index funds, check out my video in the corner. Well, that pretty much wraps up the video on the top commonly incorrect financial advice you may still be hearing today. If you have any questions or comments, please leave those down below. If you like this video, please click like and subscribe, and I'll see you in the next one. Thank you for watching.